Yo guys, back with another video. This time it's a Varus guide for Season 8, so I hope you enjoy. I'm going to start off again with his abilities. His passive is Living Vengeance, where he gets attack speed for killing enemy champions or killing monsters. He gets more for the assist or the kill on champions than he does for killing monsters and minions. Do note that this also scales with attack speed that he's bought previously. His Q is Piercing Arrow. He channels this spell up to 4 seconds, increasing in range and damage dealt. His W is Blighted Quiver, where his auto attacks will deal magic damage on hit and apply a stack of Blighted Quiver. This can stack up to 3 times, and when you use his Q or his E, it will pop these stacks for magic damage based off of the enemy's maximum HP. And then his E is Hail of Arrows, which is an area of effect physical damage spell that also applies grievous wounds to enemies hit as well as slowing them. Do know that for 4 seconds afterwards the E will stay where you cast it, and if champions walk back into it they will get the grievous wounds again. And his final ability is his ultimate, Chain of Corruption. He throws out his ultimate, which will root the first enemy hit as well as dealing magic damage to them, and then apply 3 stacks of blight stacks over the 1.5 seconds. This can also spread to other champions, so if they get snared as well within the radius, they will also get the blight stacks. Okay, so now let's talk about Varus's runes. At the moment it's pretty standard. Fleet Footwork, Overheal, Bloodline and Coup de Grace as a primary from the Precision tree. And then I like Sorcery, Celerity and Gathering Storm. That's my favourite secondary tree at the moment. But as I said before, this page I feel like is pretty generic as an ADC page and not too much going on. And then the second page is exactly the same but lethal tempo instead, and this page is more working towards the mid and late game team fights. On Varus, you know, with the Rage Blade procs and the Wit's End, the extra attack speed really boosts up your damage. So if you're a confident ADC and you feel like you can go even or just go ahead on CS in lane, then this rune is really good for you, and I'd recommend it. That's what I take. One thing to note about this rune page that I didn't speak about is that it breaks the attack speed cap, and with all the attack speed you buy on Varus, with his passive, it means that he can get some crazy number of attack speed quite consistently, and your damage will just be absolutely ridiculous. You can get something like 3.5% or 3.7 auto attacks a second, and then Rage Blade, every other auto attack is dealing like more damage. It's just absolutely insane, and that's pretty much why I go for it. And as for build, it's pretty standard stuff again. As I said, it's very similar to Cogmore's items. Your Rage Blade, Wit's End, Runons are your core, and then boots, probably Berserkers. Tabi, if they've got 3 auto attack, is the rule that I go with. But then after this holy trinity of on-hit auto attacking items, you know, the Rage Blade, the Wit's End, the Runons. If you need Lifesteal or the QSS, you go Merc Scimitar. If they have a lot of assassins and not too much CC, then GA. You can get a Blade of the Ruined King if they're stacking too much HP. You know, even a Last Whisper like a Mortal Reminder or a Lord Dominic's if they're stacking too much armor and HP. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can do, but my favourite 4th item, not including boots, would probably be Merc Scimitar, just because it's so flexible. You can use it as you get tagged by any kind of CC, but if you really feel like you don't need it, then you can go for a Blade of the Ruined King or a GA or even a Frozen Mallet if you feel like you can kite them easily with the slow. Okay, so now let's talk about Varus's laning phase. Varus is pretty strong in the laning phase because he has a nice mixture of all-in potential after he hits 6, and beforehand he's got pretty good poke and trading patterns. The best one in my opinion being the auto E, and as your E's flying down onto the champion to pop the first blight stack that you've just threw at them, you can auto attack again before the E will connect, and you'll get 2 blight stacks. This also works with 1, so you can throw your E out and then auto attack and just pop the 1 blight stack. It's really nice, really quick, and deals quite a bit of damage. After you hit 6 though, you want to be using your ultimate to try and set up ganks. So if you call the jungler down, a gank that might not have worked if you were playing an ADC like Vayne can now work because you can CC 2 targets potentially, even just the one, so you have a lot of lockup and it's really easy for the jungler to get kills off it. Obviously Varus' ultimate can be used outside of lane to create picks, and it's really good in team fights as you can just ult the person who's trying to get on you, so if a tank tries to run through your team to CC you can ult him and it will spread backwards to his backline, or at the very least zone them away so they have to walk away from your ultimate, and this allows them to split up and allows your team, to get onto the carries. But at the very least you will CC the tank and it'll buy you time to kite him and deal damage to him. At this point in the game we're pretty far ahead as a bot lane, and we've gotten the enemy bot lane's tower and gotten dragon, so what you want to do now is tell your top lane to swap lanes so you can pressure the Rift Herald and the top lane tower. The jungler solos Rift Herald and we get top lane tower, and then we rotate down to mid, pop the Rift Herald to crack the last of the outer towers and actually manage to get the inner mid tower as well. And after this point you should be able to set up vision in the enemy jungle, like at the Wraith camp, and buy wolves pretty easily, pretty much for free, with those mid towers down, and snowball the game from there. Wait for Baron to come up, look for picks, and get dragon and rinse and repeat. We actually also get bot lane tower from this as well, so we get our top laner to pressure top lane whilst we look at throning Baron and setting up vision. Here's another video of me catching someone out with my ultimate on Varus, but this time it evolves into a team fight. Remember that on Varus it's much like Kog'Maw where you want to keep up your Rage Blade stacks, but with Varus you can auto attack twice once you've got maxed out Rage Blade stacks, and then use an ability to pop the 3 Blight stacks because the way that Rage Blade interacts with Blight stacks. Something else to note is that I quickly switch targets to Kennen when I have the choice between Kennen and Janna, as he's more important and he has more threat to our team than Janna. In this clip, bot lane inhibs down, so we know that they've got to be in the bot lane to clear it, so we go get Baron and then rotate top lane. One thing to note about Varus is because he builds Rage Blade, he kills Baron very quickly, in comparison to other champions at around 20 to 25 minutes, just because of the way that he spikes. So after this we go top lane, and as the minions go under the tower we just knock it down pretty quickly because we're really far ahead, and then go to get inhib, but they step up a bit too much and we punish. But there's not really much more to talk about Varus really. It's mainly playing around his ultimate, trying to catch people out, and then playing around the Rage Blade, Wit's End, Runon's Power Spike, and just learning and getting used to having your Rage Blade maxed out, auto attacking twice to get 3 Blight stacks, and then using an ability for the most efficient amount of damage, dealing the most amount of damage you possibly can. And one thing that you will have to get used to as well is when your Rage Blade isn't stacked, you're missing a lot of attack speed and AD, and you need to be consciously thinking about that, otherwise you'll get caught out of how much damage you're missing. But that's pretty much it. There isn't any like super cool snazzy combos for this champion. If you enjoyed this guide, leave it a like or a comment telling me what you enjoyed about it and what you want to see. Tell me what champion you want to see in a guide next, but that's it from me. Peace.